In 2010, Labor advertised an additional $25 million in new placement funding to expand and diversify placement options so the needs of all children are being met. This includes foster and kinship carer placements, residential care placements, specialised foster carers and supported independent living placements. We know one solution doesn't meet the needs of all at-risk children and young people. Each case is different and presents individual needs, hence why this government adopt a range of care placements so the needs of children and young people are being met. On top of this, we're spending $45 million to build safe houses in 11 Indigenous communities to meet the needs of at-risk Indigenous children in remote communities. We have demonstrated Labor is willing to look at alternative placement options such as safe houses, therapeutic residential care, and in the future we need to look at more professional foster care system and expanded placements, like supported independent living that better suit young people transitioning from care. 50% of this year's record child safety budget will go to our external partners, including $270.3 million for our NGOs. We know the important role and the ever-increasing role that NGOs play within the child safety protection. We know it's important to foster and work with the NGOs, and we will continue to do so under a newly elected Bligh Labor government. The LNP, alternatively, has only promised $6.5 million of unfunded promises for services which largely duplicate existing services.
I'm very conscious of the need for a range and mix of out-of-home care services needed for children and young people, and I want to work to get it right. Under the Bligh Labor government, there's been a dramatic increase in the use of residential care, especially for very young children, despite being contrary to the government's own policy. We do acknowledge that there is a place for residential care in the context of a suite of options, but we need to invest in family support programs and other forms of out-of-home care, including kinship care, which can be a far better option for many children and young people. Queensland falls far behind the other states in our use of kinship care, and we need to look at ways that this can be corrected, particularly with regard to enabling Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children to be placed with kin. The government has failed in its legislative duties around kinship care and the Indigenous child placement principle. With respect to out-of-home care services, consideration needs to be given to the appropriate mix of services at both regional and local levels to identify ways in which these services can better fit together. We would expect that our inquiry would address how we can encourage and increase kinship and its application to all families, not just Indigenous families. We know that out-of-home care needs to be more flexible and include models that assist with the reunification of children and young people and their families when this is safe to do so.